saturated Saturday. So welcome back to my live session, and in today's session we are going to learn about the spinal cord. Okay, and till yesterday I have been teaching about the central nervous system, the human brain, and what are the parts of the brain and its function. Yesterday we studied about all those details, so I'll be sharing the last session live classes also along with these videos, so you can go and click on those links, and then you can find out those notes also and my explanation related to the topics. Clear? And today's class we are going to concentrate about the spinal cord. Okay, so look at this. I have given the structure of spinal cord. So spinal cord, if you see the structure, so it has an H-shaped structure. What is that? It is an H-shaped structure in the innermost part. So this H-shaped structure is known as the gray part. Yeah, gray matter. And yesterday I told you to go through that gray matter and white matter. Have you seen that what is the gray matter and white matter? Is any answers for those? So the gray matter and white matter. Yeah, the gray matter are nothing but the non-myelinated sheath. They don't have myelin sheath covering, whereas the white matter, they have the myelin sheath covering. Yeah, correct. So today in this we have the gray matter H-shaped structure. If you look at this, you will understand the H-shaped structure, and you have the sensory neurons attached to the spinal cord. Yeah, and this is the gray matter, which is the pink shaped I have shown you, and then the white matter, it's the outer covering and the outer part of this H-shaped gray matter. Okay, and if you take this H-shaped gray matter, it will be having two parts, two horns we can say. The posterior part, the top part is known as the posterior horn. Okay, and then the lower portion, these two lower portions are known as the anterior horn. Okay, and these are joined together by the nerve fibers. So those nerve fibers are nothing but the spinal nerve on both sides. If you see, they have been joined by the nerve fibers, that is known as the spinal nerve. Okay, so this is about the spinal nerve, and then you have the motor neurons also coming out on both sides. Yeah, see these are the red color lines I showed you, that is the motor neurons which will coming on both sides. So this is the structure in an outline I am telling you. Okay, now let me explain the spinal cord function. Okay, actually the spinal cord is continuous with the medulla oblongata. Am I right? So from the brain, yesterday I taught you all the what is the various parts of the brain and what are the functions of the brain, everything in depth I taught. I'll share the link. Those who have not attended the session, I will share that link along with this video. That will be useful for you to understand. So this medulla oblongata, which is coming from the brain, is continuous in the interior part as the spinal cord, and this spinal cord will travel along the vertebral column, your backbone. Okay, see, look at this. Your spine, your brain is there, and your brain, it is continuous. This is the medulla oblongata. The stem, the brain stem which is coming from the brain is known as the medulla oblongata. So that medulla oblongata is continuous as the spinal cord in the vertebral column. Okay, so this spinal cord, where it will be in the canal. It will be in the neural canal. What do you mean by neural? Nerve canal. Neural means nerve. Okay, so it will be continuous in the neural canal, and it will go down the vertebral column, your backbone, and it will end in the first lumbar vertebrae of the vertebral column, your backbone. Okay, so that's why we will see the functions of the spinal cord and all, and before that we will understand the parts also. Okay, so this is the that is topmost view of the spinal cord I have given you, and it is a cylindrical shape. Spinal cord will be in cylindrical shape as it is continuous from the medulla oblongata, and it, like a brain, it also has the meninges. They are the membrane. You know that dura mater, pia matter and arachnoid matter. They are the membrane meninges is present in the human brain that will protect the brain from the mechanical injuries and shocks, isn't it? So like that, the spinal cord also covered by meninges. The membranes are there, and then it extends. Now, just now I told you it extends from the lower end of the medulla oblongata and to the first lumbar vertebrae in the backbone. Okay, and your posterior region, that is end part, no, of the spinal cord, they will form that is thin fibrous thread. Okay, they will form a thin fibrous thread that is known as the phylum terminale. Okay, phylum terminal. That's what the spinal cord is continuous till the first lumbar of the vertebra, and they will form the fibrous thread over there that is known as the phylum terminal. Understood? And then the spinal cord, like your brain, it is also filled with cerebrospinal fluid. What is the CSF? Cerebrospinal fluid cavity will be there in the central canal. Okay, and you have the gray matter which is in the H shaped form. Okay, now, so now coming back to the structure again. So this H shaped structure is known as the gray matter, and it has the posterior horn and the anterior horn, I told you. This posterior horn will be having the dorsal nerve roots. They are known as the afferent root. Okay, they will be having the dorsal or the afferent root. They are the bundle of fibers which pass into the posterior gray matter. Okay, and then from the anterior gray matter, there is some bundle of fibers which come out. They are nothing but the ventral or the efferent roots. They are the nerve roots. Okay, so this is about the dorsal afferent root which comes into the posterior part of the H-shaped gray matter, and then the ventral efferent root, no, which comes out from the anterior part of the H-shaped gray matter. Clear? So this is about the dorsal and ventral roots, nerve roots. Okay, now. So now, so this white matter I told, no, this white color that is around this H-shaped gray matter, we have the white matter. So they will also have the external and bundle of nerve tracts. Okay, they will also have the nerve tracts. And then the spinal cord, no, what is its main function? Already I told you in the previous session itself. It mainly conducts the sensory and the motor impulses to and from the brain. It's playing the main role. Okay, it only conducts the nerve impulses from the sensory organs, the sensory receptors to the brain, and from the brain to the motor receptors, motor muscle fibers. That's the main function of the spinal cord. Is that clear? So, what is the function of the spinal cord? It conducts the sensory and motor nerve impulses to and from the brain, and it controls the reflex action. What do you mean by reflex action? I told you, whenever you touch or you come across a sudden what to say change that your body feels, no, a sudden stimulus, we can say, your body feels. For that, the spinal cord only is the main part which will react accordingly to that sudden immediate stimulus which occurs in the body. For example, if you touch a hot pan, what happens? You within a fraction of seconds you remove your hand. Am I right? How it happens is mainly because of the spinal cord. The spinal reflexes will come and play the role, and that's why your hand is removed from that hot pan without your knowledge, isn't it? Have you ever experienced this? If you have not, if many of you would have experienced, yeah, yeah, if immediately in a fraction of second you will remove your hand or a leg or any part which was in the touch with a hot object. Clear? Even a simple example, whenever your fingers, when you touch a fire, when you lit a lamp, immediately you will remove your hand. So that's a reflex action which is being governed by the spinal cord. Clear? So now next is we will see about the cerebrospinal fluid What is this? Why it is called cerebrospinal fluid? Because it is present in the brain and it is also present in the spine. Okay, so your brain also has the cerebrospinal fluid, and this spinal fluid is also present in the spinal cord also. What is this fluid? What is the nature of this fluid, children? It is the what is the lymph like? What is the lymph? You have learned about the lymph in your previous classes. Lymph is nothing but the white fluid which will be running outside the blood vessels. Okay, outside the white blood cells or blood vessels, it will be having the plasma content and some proteins in it, and also it plays a major role in the antibody production. It is playing a major role in immune system of the living organism. Yes, good. So this lymph like watery fluid is known as the cerebrospinal fluid, which surrounds the and also protects the brain within the skull. Okay, above this brain only we have the skull. That's the skeleton above that in your head. Okay, you have the air, and then below that you have the skeletal skull. No, yeah. So that is mainly what to say, the skull. Below that and between the skull and the brain, no, you have this very cerebrospinal fluid only. The main reason is in order to protect the brain and also to prevent the brain from the shock, any injury, mechanical injury which will affect your brain. No, your skull and the cerebrospinal fluid only will prevent that, will protect that. Okay, and the cerebrospinal fluid is also, I already told you, the same fluid only is present in the spinal cord also, where the central canal is there, no, in the spinal cord. It is filled with the cerebrospinal fluid only. Okay, and the next is we are going to see about the cerebrospinal fluid function. What it will do, it has already I told that it is main essential fluid for the brain, so it supplies nutrients also to the brain, and it also collects and removes the waste from the brain. The cerebrospinal fluid only is going to collect and remove the waste from the brain, and also responsible for maintaining the constant pressure inside the cranium. Inside the cranium, inside the skull and the brain. Cranium means what? It is the term related to the brain. Okay, so these are the functions of the cerebrospinal fluid. It supplies the nutrient, it collects and removes the waste, are also responsible for maintaining the pressure inside the cranium. Understood? So this is about the cerebrospinal fluid which is present in the brain and the spinal cord. Okay, now next we will come to the reflex action. Already I explained about what is a reflex action. We will see in detail about this reflex action. Okay, so this reflex action is nothing but we can also say a sudden and immediate automatic response without our consciousness. It's happening, no, that is known as the reflex action. Okay, so if you see this, it occurs automatically. We need not think. When we touch the hot object or when we see any other dangerous situation, we need not think. Our brain will spontaneously will react accordingly, and you will get the result. That's known as the automatically without our consciousness. That's the reflex action. Okay, so this reflex action is of two types, we can say. Inbuilt, it will be there. Basic simple reflexes will be there in our day-to-day life itself, like we winkle our eyes. Okay, there are so many basic things we do in our daily life. That's a simple and basic inbuilt without our what to say, unlearned responses, we can say. These are all the simple or basic. That's what actions in our day-to-day life. Okay, actions without thinking. We need not think. It will happens automatically on its own. That's the simple or basic reflexes. Okay, whereas acquired or the conditioned reflexes, no, it will comes only on practice. It will come only on learning. Okay, why? Because now you are going for any class like football class or any coaching class, like to play an instrument, or you go and read the any other new thing you want to learn, like many people are time in their extracurricular activities, like sports, like games, and then like art and craft. So these are all they are learning. So by practice they learn. It's a required conscious training effort is there for the acquired or the conditioned reflexes. Example, the learning by any new process you are learning, for that we need the continuous practice and learning. With the learning it happens, that's known as the acquired or the conditioned reflexes. For example, you are going to learn a keyboard instrument or any musical instrument. So with the help of the notes only you will learn. By practice only you will learn. That is an example of acquired and or conditioned reflex. Okay. And whereas simple or the basic thing is an inbuilt one, is an unearned response. It will happen in our day-to-day life without our thinking. Without our thinking, it happens. This is about the reflex action of two types, simple and then acquired condition. Okay. So now let me explain the reflex arc. What is the reflex arc? Reflex arc and its pathway we will see now. So reflex arc and pathway is the, I have given one example here. Okay. So this example, no problem, no one watching also, no problem. I am doing my duty. Okay. People who like my video will see. Okay. No one watching, no problem. Thank you for your comment. Okay. So please listen the class, those who are in the live. Okay. Now, so now this class is actually for the class 10 guys. Okay. Those who are going to write their public exam, board exam in the 2025 to 26, for them I am taking class. Okay. If you are non-class 10 students, please go away. Only the class 10 students who like my video can get in, can learn. Okay. So now listen. So this is the reflex action and its pathway. I already explained about the spinal cord. What is its structure? It's a cylindrical shape. It has the H-shaped gray matter and the white matter. Okay, now, and it also has the spinal nerves, and then that is sensory neurons, and then motor nerves are all there. Posterior horns are there. Anterior horns are there. Okay. Now, suppose we are touching a hot pan like this. Okay, without our knowledge, you will remove the hand. That's okay. That's the action we are doing. How this happens? How this happens? This happens in a fraction of second. Okay. So now your receptor is the hand, your skin. It's going to send the signal. That's what the stimulus from the environment is sensitized through your skin. Your skin is a sensory receptor. Okay. So now it is going to pass the nerve impulse through the electrical form, and it is going to carry it by the sensory neurons, and it is going to reach your gray matter of the spinal cord. There will be that is the convey of stimulus by the relay neuron, which is present in the central canal of the spinal cord. Okay, and this relay neuron in turn return the impulse, that is in the form of the action, which is being carried to the motor fibers, that is through the motor neurons. It reaches the motor cells. There the effector cells will be there. The receptor will carry the sensory neurons nerve impulse, whereas the effector will respond to that, and immediately we will take the hand from the hot pan. Am I right? So your effector is the muscle in arm. Your receptor is the heat pain which has been observed, which has been recognized by your skin, your hand. Okay. So most of the reflex actions, they are monitored and they have been controlled by your spinal cord only. Okay. That's known as the spinal reflexes. This is how the reflex action will take place. Let me say again. Your receptor in the skin touches the hot pan. The sensory neurons take the impulse. So from one nerve cell to another nerve cell, the information is transmitted, is conveyed through the neurons on the all over the world, and it is going to the spinal cord in the gray matter. The stimulus is conveyed through the relay neuron. This relay neuron is present in the central canal of the spinal cord, and it's going to respond accordingly, and it will carry the impulse, return impulse, towards the motor fibers. That is, the motor neurons will carry, and it reaches the muscles in the arm. So your effector cells are there. It will remove the hand from the hot pan. So this is how the reflex arc will take place in our daily life, in our day-to-day life. Okay, this is the basic or simple reflex we can say. Whereas the acquired or the conditioned reflexes, that takes place through our learning process, through our practices happens. Whereas this reflex action, it happens on its own without our thinking, without our consciousness. Clear? That's about the role of reflexes, spinal reflexes, and mostly all the reflexes are spinal reflexes only in our body. Accordingly, you will react. We will react. Okay? Now, if you have any doubts, please comment me. And this is the live session I'm taking for the past 2 weeks. I have started with the lesson genetics in the class 10. Okay, and that class was from last Monday till last Saturday, it was held. And on Saturday I was taking the review of the genetics, also the simple question paper I discussed. All those links I have been attaching along with the upcoming live sessions also. If you have any doubts, you can go to those links, and you can take notes, so that you will be very successful in your upcoming board exams. Okay, so if you like my videos, please comment. You can also share among your friends and relatives, those who are in class 10. Okay, hope you like my video. Please give me a like also. And then I'm taking one-to-one session classes also for class 10, and not only for class 10, for all the science related concepts, science related subjects like chemistry, biochemistry, biology, physics, and life sciences, biochemistry and biotechnology. Students can also come and join this coaching. It's a paid coaching only. One-to-one interactions will be there. Okay, so concepts will be clarified in depth. So please recommend among your friend circle, and you can mail me if you want this coaching. Okay, we'll see you in my next live session. My next live session will be on the topic your so far I have been discussing about the human central nervous system, and in my upcoming live session on Monday, we will be studying about the peripheral nervous system and the autonomic nervous system. Okay, so hope you like my video, you like my live session. Please give me likes and comments, and also share and subscribe my channel Fancy Artist, so you can get more informations in this channel. Thank you. See you on Monday. I'll post the timing in the community. Take care and bye bye. All the best for your board exams, class 10 guys.